Hello, once again, Sooner fans. This is the legend Mike Wilkerson, your host of Sooner Legends podcast. This evening, we're going to be discussing a little bit about one of my favorite linebackers, pre Bosworth, by the name of George Cumby. But before we do that, need to do a little housekeeping. Can I ask you to step out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, turn on your post notification bell. That way you won't miss any OU related content that I will be dropping, and also other college football content. And also it helps push the algorithm of YouTube. And also, if you don't mind, in the description down below, if you're a coffee drinker, uh, and like me, you can't function without 3 cups of coffee in your system before you can actually function. Uh, Go to Devil Dog Brewed Beans and DevilDogBeansandBrew.com and order you some wonderful, wonderful coffee. The owner is a veteran, former Marine and combat vet, and he has all kinds of brews, blends, etc. Too much to put on here. But me being a veteran, I support veterans, and something that is near and dear to my heart. So go to Devil Dogs Brew and Beans and order you some delicious coffee. Enter code Sooner Legends, and you will get 10% off your first order, free shipping, and orders will be shipped immediately as soon as your beans are ground and roasted. And also, uh, for every dollar you spend at Devil Dogs Beans and Brews, uh, a portion goes to the Wounded Warrior Project, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Veterans helping veterans, that's what it's all about. So let's take a look at George Cumby, one of my all time favorite linebackers of that 1970s era. I mean, he was a dandy, big time, knock you on your butt and make you like it. So, who was George Cumby? Well, we almost missed on him because he went to a tiny school outside of Tyler, Texas, and the name of his high school was Bishop Gorman High School. And when I looked up Bishop Gorman, it said their average class size was 24, so it was a tiny school. So Larry Lacewell brings tape of George Cumby while he was still in high school, senior year, to Barry Switzer, and he said, "My God, how was we going to miss on this guy?" So during the recruiting process, Barry flies down to Tyler, Texas. George and his grandma and grandpa come up to the airport there in Tyler. And George comes up to Barry and he says, "Coach, I don't want to play for OU. I'll go to another school." And Barry had the paperwork for him signed. And Barry said, "What, George? I thought you wanted to come play for me at OU." He said, "No, coach." He said, he's a junior college was looking at him. He said, "George, just remember this. Whatever team you go to and you play us, we're going to beat you." So ultimately, George signed his recruiting paperwork. It came to OU. I thought I'd throw that little nugget in there. But his time at OU was phenomenal. He played for Oklahoma from 76 to 79 and was in the 1980 Orange Bowl where we beat Florida State. And some little notes I've got written down here. He was first team All American in 77, 78, and 79. He was consensus first team All American in 1979. And like I said, the dude was fast. I mean, just god awful fast and just strong as an ox. And many believe that he was one of the best defensive players to have played at OU. He was named Defensive Newcomer of the Year in '76 and Big Eight Defensive Player of the Year twice in '78 and '79. Here's another funny quote, but it's also true because I watched doggone games. Barry Switzer was quoted as saying about George Cumbie, the only person I know who could go one on one with Earl Campbell and knock him backwards. That ain't that ain't a fantasy. That is reality. He was, oh my God, that George Cumbie and Earl Campbell battle was for the ages. Now keep in mind when Earl Campbell was at Texas, Texas record against OU was 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 tie. Think think about that. And that's what makes me mad about the 2000 Texas game and the commentators on, I think it was ABC, sitting there talking about Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams. They never made one mention about Billy Sims or Elvis Peacock or our great list of running backs. But that's another time for another subject. Earl Campbell only got to beat us once, and that was his senior year. So, and that was all due because of George Cumbie and the rest of our defensive line who chewed him up and spit him out. But George, if you go back and watch that 1979 edition, any game they got on YouTube, you will see exactly how good Cumbie was. His quickness, his speed, his agility, and how he would knock players on their butts. And while I'm wrapping up, one thing that I always say when I'm on other podcasts, if George Cumbie and Rod Choate was on defense, on the defenses today in college football, they would go to jail for how hard they hit you. They was that tough, that mean, and that hard hitting. So that was my two favorite linebackers in the '70s: Rod Choate, and George Cumbie, and of course George Cumbie. He was drafted in the first round of the 26th pick to the Green Bay Packers. Uh, he was second team Pro Bowl, and then he got traded to uh, I can't remember, but my my memory comes and goes. But I know a lot of Chicago Bear fans is going to come in here and say, "Well, William the Refrigerator Perry knocked him on his butt." Yeah, he did. Um, but I'm not talking about his pro days. I'm talking about his time at OU. So as always, we thank you for tuning in. Thank you for stopping by. Uh, I'm up to 50 subscribers now, so thanks to all of you who have subscribed and even watched my videos. I appreciate it so much, and we're growing this channel by leaps and bounds every day. So y'all have a great night. This is the Legend from Sooner Legends Podcast. We'll see you on the backside.